to Living with Ulcerative Colitis. I'm Maya, and today we're going to do a story time. Precisely my story on how I learned that I had ulcerative colitis. And so I learned this in December of 2017. It was around Christmas time, and I was unwrapping presents with my siblings, and my grandma, who is a nurse, happened to FaceTime to see what we got and everything, and she noticed that I didn't look very well. And she asked Mom if there was something wrong, and Mom didn't have an answer, and so we went to the hospital after I began having stomach problems. And when we got there, the doctors diagnosed me with gastrointestinal itis, which is the stomach flu, and they told me that in 14 days it would end. In 14 days it didn't end, and I actually got worse. I started having complications of symptoms of ulcerative colitis, but we didn't know that at the time because they have similar symptoms as stomach flu. I was having problems staying awake, and I couldn't eat anything and I couldn't drink anything except for keeping down Gatorade, and I was just getting worse. And so January 6th, I couldn't get up, and so Mom took me back to the hospital because she and I were insistent that this was not the stomach flu. And when we got to the hospital, I promptly fainted. And in this process, doctors and nurses that you would never know were just standing by, swarmed, and they took me to one of the ER rooms, and they realized they had to re-diagnose me. And the diagnosis that they got then was ulcerative colitis. And of course we had no idea what that was, and they were trying to explain, and I was really out of it, so Mom was the person that got the full diagnosis and everything. I was just kind of there for the ride. And so they admitted me, and they said that this was a really severe case. I was in the midst of having a flare-up, and I had no idea how long the flare would last, and so they admitted me. I was in the hospital for about a couple of days. It was like, what's the word? They didn't think I was going to survive the weekend, so they were just watching me. And then when I did, they said they wanted to do a colonoscopy to see how far the inflammation of my colon went down. So they did a colonoscopy, and they found out that my colon was really inflamed to the point where you couldn't touch the outside of it because it hurt. And so I had doctors come in, and they were trying to give us procedures, surgeries, different ways that this could be remedied. We settled on a biological therapy. And this is a therapy that goes in and basically tells your cells, no, don't produce inflammation in that area, and the cells hopefully listen. This helped decrease the amount of inflammation in my colon, and it allowed me to stop having so much going to and leaving the bathroom, which was one of the major complications, because every time it happened, I lost a substantial amount of blood. With the biological therapy, and that lessened the severity, and they were going to allow me to go home. But after another complication with the second colonoscopy, I had to get an emergency surgery, and that was to take the colon, because at that point the colon was too far gone and they couldn't save it, so they took it. And in the process, they took my large intestine, and then they took my small intestine and gave me a stoma, which went on my side. And the stoma was covered then by an ostomy, and mine was an ileostomy. There are different types of ostomies, and I had an ileostomy. Which is the ileum of the colon, which is kind of complicated, so I'm just not going to go into that. But the ileum part of my small intestine. And so after that happened, I had to stay in the hospital for the rest of the month of January. I don't remember how long that was, but I had, in the process of all of this, I had an amazing doctors, both in both in gastro and both in surgery, because when I had the surgery you get a whole new team of doctors, because the gastro team was supposed to help remedy but they don't do surgery, and when I had the surgery I got a new team of doctors that do gastro surgery. And I asked them a plethora of questions. Any question I had, I wanted to know. This was after I was no longer dazed and I could come up with actual conversation, and it came to the point where they came in the room and they were just ready to answer a question, kind of like they were going to take a test. And I wanted to know everything. I wanted to know why this was happening. I wanted to know why it's happening to me. I wanted to know if there were any causes of UC. I wanted to know how long I would have to have the ostomy. And for me, my doctor, my surgeon, he decided that instead of doing an all-in-one surgery, he was going to break it into 3. So I had the emergency surgery where he attached my small intestine to my stoma on my side, and then in June 15th I had the second surgery to attach the small intestines to my newly constructed rectum, but I still had a stoma on my side so that could heal. And then I had the third surgery December 20th, so that we could take the stoma out, sew it back together, and just have everything as normal. That
was the J pouch surgery.
The J pouch surgery. Yeah. I have a J pouch. There's a K pouch, S pouch. There's a lot of different pouches, and the reason you have a letter pouch is so that length, the bottom half of your small intestines, can behave as your colon and allow the food to digest. And so I got a J pouch. And so in my journey, I learned a lot of interesting things about ulcerative colitis. I only had my ostomy for a year, but I learned a lot of information about that. It's just me telling you about the things that I have learned. I am by no means a doctor, a dietitian, but this is my experience. And so I thought it would be helpful for parents, kids, extended family, just anyone that wants to know more about ostomies or ulcerative colitis because they have it or they know someone that does. And so this is for them. Or if you're a biology student and you just think this is curiously interesting. So I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I hope you guys like, share, subscribe, and check out our other segments, and bye guys.